Welcome to Kat's Tiny Kitchen. How you doing today? I just got back from the grocery store and they had this humongous sale on chicken and I thought I couldn't pass it up. So dinner plans are going to change tomorrow, but I'm going to get it started today and I want you to kind of check it out and see what I'm doing. I am going to roast a chicken. I'm going to stuff it with fresh herbs from the garden, and I'm going to marinate it in a lemon vinegar dill marinade, and you will see in just a moment how we're going to do that. And I just want to get going, and let's get the ingredients going for you. So I've already got the chicken here. It is a huge chicken, whole roaster, and we're going to start with that. Then for our wet ingredients, we have 1 cup of lemon juice. We have 1 cup of distilled vinegar. We have 2 cups of water. We have herbs from the garden. And the herbs here are, I've got some oregano, rosemary, sweet basil, marjoram, thyme, and I'm going to stuff this in the bird. This is a lot of herbs and I hope I can get them all in, and you'll see what I'm going to do here in a minute. And for the dry ingredients, I have about a 3/4 of a tablespoon of dough wheat that I grew from last year that I dried. Then I have 2 teaspoons of my favorite salt, pepper and garlic blend. And then I have a 2 teaspoon measure of garlic salt. And that's all going to go into a 2.5 gallon bag. A gallon bag isn't big enough, so I got the 2.5 gallon size. So let's go ahead and get this ready to marinate. So the first thing I'm going to do here is get my herbs, and I'm going to stuff the inside of the bird with them. And I'm going to just try and make this into a really tight ball. And they're wet. I washed them. It doesn't matter. That water's not going to hurt anything. But I want to get it scrunched up into a very tight ball. And what does happen is some of the natural oils from the herbs will release from this when you do this. And then I'm just going to stuff it right into the middle inside of the bird. And it's going to fit. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we're going to set that aside. And in my 2.5 gallon Ziploc bag, I'm going to start adding my ingredients. And we're going to start out with our wets. So I'm going to pour in my 2 cups of it's cold water too, by the way, not warm. Put in my cup of apple cider vinegar, my cup of lemon juice. Now if you want to go ahead and juice your lemons, you can do that. I just use bottled lemon juice from the grocery store. Now I'm going to add my garlic salt. I'm going to add my salt, pepper, garlic, and I'm going to add my dill. And I'm going to zip this closed, and I'm going to give it a good shake. I want to give it a good shake so I get that all mixed up. Now that I've got it shaken, not stirred, I'm going to take my chicken and add it to my bag. Get that in there. I also got a heart. I got a gizzard and a heart, so I'm going to throw that in there. It's not going to hurt anything. Dry my hands off there. And now I'm going to zip this shut, leave a little bit of an opening so that I can force all of the air out of this. because with this lemon juice and the vinegar, it can start cooking the chicken, and we don't want that. We want it to be able to marinate. So I'm going to push as much out as I can. As much of the air out as I can. This isn't very easy and I just already made a mess, so get that pushed out. And there you go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it in my refrigerator, and you can marinate for an hour or up to overnight. And we love this flavor, so we're going to let this go overnight. And I'll see you back here tomorrow with the rest of the recipe. We'll see you in a bit. So we are back, and it's time to get this chicken in the oven. This is a pretty simple recipe, folks. Most of it is in the marinade, and we are going to use some of the marinade to cook it. So let's get this going and see what we can do. So we've got a whole roaster that's been marinating overnight that we're going to pull out of the bag and put into our pan right here. And it's big. It's 5.5 pounds. I spent $4.53 on this. It was a great buy. You don't see that anymore. But it needed to be cooked right away also because it was getting ready to pass its expiration date. So I'm going to put this in my pan. And it's a tight fit. And I'm going to add to this a half a cup of chicken stock. And I'm going to add a half a cup of the marinade. That's not quite a half a cup, but we'll put a little bit more in there. There we go. And then I have my gizzards in here. I'm going to throw those in too. It's not going to hurt anything. Just throw them along the side. We're going to set this aside. And wash your hands off. And I'm going to cover this. I'm going to cover this with my lid. I'm going to put it in the oven. It's at 350 degrees. And I'm going to cook it for 3 hours. That's about 20 minutes per pound. And for the first half of the cooking process, I'm going to have a lid on it. And then when we get through the second half, I'm going to take the lid off so that it'll roast the chicken and get the skin nice and crispy and crusty. And make it really yummy. So let's get this in the oven, and I will be back in a little bit to show you what's going on with the chicken after it's done. Okay, we're halfway through the cooking process right now, so I'm going to take the lid off of my chicken, and it's looking pretty good. And I'm going to give it a spray of some butter flavored cooking spray just to help it crisp up. And there's a lot of stuff going on in here. There's a lot of juice. Didn't realize I was going to have that much. It usually doesn't do that. So now back in the oven for another hour and a half. And then we'll see what we got when we're done. We'll see you in a minute. So the chicken is done. All I gotta do is get it out of the oven and show it to you. It looks delicious. I've already checked it. It's at temp. And I cannot wait to dig in. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So, it's been a long day cooking, cleaning, all kinds of stuff. And I'm ready to dig in. In case you're wondering, there is a lot of juice in here. And what I'm going to do is once that pan cools down after I get the chicken out and on a platter, I'm going to let this cool down. I'm going to put it in something, in a container, and put it in the refrigerator. And I'll pull all that chicken fat off, and I will save the juice. Because the juice has that good tang and stuff from all the lemon, vinegar, and dill. And the chicken itself. That it can be used in other dishes, soups, stews, gravies, you name it. And what I do with that then is put it in containers and I put it in the freezer I'll put it in a vacuum or a freezer bag, Ziploc freezer bag, and put it in the freezer for another day. So I just want to say thank you all for coming along tonight. This is a really quick and easy one, and I hope you like it, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks for coming along.